Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Jasmine King joined here today with Abby St. John. We're going to have all your local news, weather, and sports later on in the show in just a few minutes. But our question of the day today is, what is one thing still on your bucket list?
A big thing that I tell a lot of people is that something on my bucket list is to officiate someone's wedding. I really want to, you can get registered online and stuff, but I really want to officiate someone's wedding. That's high up there.
That's really unique. Like, I hadn't even thought about that, but that would be really cool. But now we're going to go to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Thanks, guys. Today we are out here at Bud Miller Park and we are taking a look at the Fall Fest, which is going on here this Saturday. So today we are going to have some more here throughout the show on all that you can expect, as there is tons of stuff from entertainment, food, to tons of games and activities for the entire family to enjoy out here this Saturday at Bud Miller. So we're going to have some more from here again, Fall Fest this weekend. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back inside the studio where they'll take a look at your local news.
Earlier this week, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney announced that the government will be committing $80 to $140 million and 4,000 treatment beds over the next 4 years towards the opioid epidemic. This announcement is a long time coming for those who work in treatment centers and to those who need those resources.
We have fought long and hard over the last 4 years as treatment centers, as treatment providers, to be included in the continuum of care. So, for us, it's significant.
The government is currently working on solidifying how the process will work, but they are looking at all aspects of treatment.
They're not only looking at adult services at this time, they're also exploring the youth component as well. So they've stipulated to us that about $100 million of that will be directly against addiction and mental health generally, and those treatment services, and then the other 40 specifically to the opioid crisis.
Having the funding and beds will go a long way in helping those who are seeking treatment.
Treatment in itself has been really left out of the continuum. It hasn't really been overly recognized in our past government, and it is a part of that continuum. There certainly is not one size, that fits all, but it definitely needs to be included, and we're just elated as treatment centers that we are now being included in all the hard work that we are doing.
The City of Lloydminster is on the hook for $45,000 from the airport runway rehabilitation project, which was initiated more than 6 years ago. Current administration learned in August that Transport Canada at the time would not cover a consultant fee higher than the lowest tender. The city at that time instead hired a consultant that was more expensive, leading to the unpaid for total.
After the process now with working through Transport Canada and actually receiving the grant 6 years after the process started and getting the project completed today, we're finding this out. So we have a $45,000 bill. We reached out to our federal MPs. They're investigating it for us. We will be responsible for that bill. If Transport Canada does change their rules, then that money would come back to the city.
While the bill is unexpected, Mayor Albers believes it isn't going to come out of taxpayer dollars thanks to capital savings.
Currently, we expect that we will have some money from projects on the capital list as they come completed based on tendering prices and things like that. We should be within the budget is where we see it.
Council will know more of where the budget sits in the next coming months. Good on you. It's what families and friends are saying to local artist Jordan Pollard as she recently released her debut single with the same name. The local farm girl is trying her best to make it big in the country music industry. We have more on the young artist.
Oh, you just didn't look good on me.
That is local singer Jordan Pollard performing her new single, Good on You, which came out a few weeks ago.
It's about when you're in a relationship and the person that you're with just isn't fitting with you and they're just not good on you, so that's how they got the title Good on Me.
This new single is one of the songs featured on her new EP coming out later this fall. Although Jordan is only 17 years old, she has many years of experience on her side.
I started getting into music at a very young age. I think I started singing before I could talk, basically, so I was around 2 or 3, and I've just always been into it ever since then.
Jordan is originally from Hillman, Saskatchewan. Her family is involved in farming, but she didn't have that same passion her family did.
I think it was just kind of in my blood, and whenever music came on, I would dance or I would sing, and Shania Twain, I would watch her music videos on TV and always dance in front of the TV, so it just kind of happened.
She says she doesn't have one thing that inspires her the most while she's creating her music, but influences come from all around her.
When it comes to creating music, I think that your inspirations kind of come from everything, whether it's books or movies, other artists, or personal experiences. When it comes to performing, I really look up to artists like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood, who all put on great shows and really engage with their audiences.
Although she has many influences now for her performances, she wasn't always the most comfortable with performing in front of people.
I actually hated performing in front of my family. When I was younger, I would hide in my room and everyone would have to listen through the peek in the door. But I started actually singing in front of crowds and in front of my family around 11 or 12.
In today's music industry, building a presence early on and gaining followers is an important step to reaching the next level. Jordan likes to keep her social media accounts active in order to be closer to her audience.
I think social media is a really big thing in today's, not just only music industry, but with everything. It's such a pivotal part in our lives, and I feel like that is such a great way to reach out to your audience and let them know more about you, so it's not just you're not just another voice on the radio, you're actually a person.
Ahead of the release of Jordan's EP later this fall, she will be hosting a release party closer to that date.
Oh, yes, so I can post you.
Now we go to our Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back out here at Bud Miller Park, and today we are looking towards the weekend, checking out what is going on here, and that will be Fall Fest, and Mackenzie Dow joins me now. And so first off, can you give us a little background as to what Fall Fest is?
Yeah, so Fall Fest, presented by Lloydminster District Co-op, is just a event that we put on in the fall to celebrate the fall season. We bring in lots of fun fall things, hay maze, corn roast, we have a hot dog barbecue happening, we'll have bouncy castles, horse and wagon rides, and all that fun stuff just to get everybody in the mood for fall and have a great day.
And now again, we did mention this is going on here this weekend, so can you tell us, when it is happening and how people can get out and check this out?
Yeah, so it's this Saturday from 12 to 5, and it's just happening over here by the sundial. So parking in the park is first come, first serve, and then overflow will happen in the college parking lot as well as in residential. But I will let you know that there will be no parking allowed along the roads in the park, so it needs to be in the parking lot or just outside of the park there.
And now you mentioned there will be tons of stuff for kids, so can you maybe go into more detail as to what the kids will be having to enjoy here this weekend?
Yeah, so like I said, we have the bouncy castles and inflatable attractions, and on top of horse and wagon rides and the maze, we also have cookie decorating, a fall scene photo booth, kids games that include potato sack races, tug of war, all that good stuff, and lots of stuff for everyone to enjoy. So we also have a pie eating contest that'll take place at 2 p.m., so that'll be really fun too.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here at Bud Miller, continuing to talk about the Fall Fest coming up. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. We'll take a look at current temperatures for here in Lloydminster. We're sitting at 17 degrees with nice and clear skies with a little bit of cloud mixture, but it's been pretty clear and sunny all throughout today, which is better than yesterday. Wind coming in from the south at 13 kilometers per hour, so not terrible, but it's definitely not as good as we want it to be. Our records for this time of year, the record high was back in 2013 with 28 degrees, and our record low was -2 back in 1993, which neither of those temperatures we are close to. Looking at current temperatures across the region, North Battleford and Meadow Lake also sitting at 17, while Prince Albert and Saskatoon are at 15 and 11 out in Melfort. On the Alberta side, they're a little bit warmer with 21 in Edmonton and Edson and Whitecourt, 22 in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, 18 in Jasper, and 20 in Athabasca, 19 in Cold Lake. Taking a look overnight in Cold Lake will be a mix of clear and cloudy skies with a low of 7, and then tomorrow will be a high of 19 with a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. North Battleford, they're looking at nice clear skies overnight with a low of 6, and then tomorrow up in the 20s with 21 for the daytime high with a mix of sun and cloud. Here in Lloydminster, we have that same as Cold Lake mix of clear and cloudy skies overnight tonight with a low of 7, and then tomorrow we are also in the 20s with a high of 20 throughout the day and mostly sunny skies with a bit of cloud just like today. We have a 25% chance of some showers tomorrow, so that's pretty good, with a low of 7, but that wind speed will pick up to 15 kilometers per hour coming in from the south. On Saturday, there's a 61% chance of some showers with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day with a high of 19, and that wind slows down coming in from the southwest at 11 kilometers. And then Sunday, we are back to sunny skies throughout the day with a high of 21 degrees and a low of 8, which is better than Saturday as there's a very low chance that it should rain. But that is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have your 7-day forecast later on in the cast.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back. Now in a new location, the Vac Shack continues to provide the same services, making sure your vacuum fits your needs. Eric Bay has more in this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Now located just off Highway 16 on the north side, the Vac Shack's move was made to get more eyes on the business.
I was over by the bus depot at one point. When I first opened up, I was at the bus depot, but with the bus depot being closed, hardly any traffic, just not that much exposure anymore. So I was looking for a new place, and this came up, so I thought, well, why not?
Specializing in vacuums, Landry says that focus gives the Vac Shack the ability to fit the right vacuum to the customer's need.
I'm knowledgeable. I could tell you what's best for your flooring, what you would need, because a lot of times people buy stuff that they don't need. They get it home, right? And it's like, well, this is not what I wanted. So when you come see me, at least you'll have an idea of what you would need, how much it would cost.
Landry says getting a good, long-lasting vacuum saves money in the long run while also reducing waste.
It's a throwaway world, right? And people are trying to save money, but in the long run, after time, you're spending a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, when you could have actually just went and bought something that's worthwhile and worth the money. And you probably would never, ever, have to be doing that vicious cycle that people do, rebuying and throwing away rebuying.
The Vac Shack also keeps vacuums running longer by doing repairs at the store. And that's this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Business Bio, brought to you by BioClean. Call the Bio Team, 1-833-246-8326. The Disaster Specialists.
Above average rain in the Lloydminster area has led to good crop growth, but now the issue is getting those crops off the field. Eric Bay has more on how harvest is progressing in this week's Ag Report.
In the northeast region of Alberta, which includes Lloydminster, haying is underway but is lagging behind the average at this time of year.
Lloydminster lies in the northeast region of the province. While harvest is delayed in the northeast and northwest regions, there is a bit of haying occurring, with hay condition estimates predominantly good and excellent. Anticipated yields for major crops surpasses the provincial 5-year and 10-year averages. However, good crop conditions and yield estimates don't help producers if the crops can't be harvested. The wet conditions persist, and the area experienced some rain.
Meanwhile, on the Saskatchewan side, harvest is slow as well, with about 18% of crop in the bin, nearly 25% less than the 5-year average at this time.
Before the rains, they were looking not bad. Average to above average yields, some below average, depending where you were. The quality is definitely going to take a hit now that it has rain, substantial amount of rain, kind of in the central and southern grain belts. So the cereal crops, a lot more sprouting, bleaching, staining.
Jacob says farmers are definitely feeling pressure to get crops off the field sooner rather than later, and encourages them to talk to someone if they are experiencing stress.
There definitely is. I mean, the producers are feeling stress, and you can't blame them. You're watching crops sitting out in the field that's potentially being downgraded, and they're losing money from Mother Nature. And there's bills to pay, and there's definitely stress being felt by producers. And we encourage them to reach out and talk to somebody.
While a warm, extended fall would be welcome, all producers are looking for now is a couple weeks of good weather, allowing them to catch up on combining. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This Ag Report is brought to you by the Lloydminster Co-op Agro Center. Depend on them for product, tools, and expert advice. Shop at your local Lloyd Co-op Agro Center with branch locations in Lashburn and Neilburg.
Now we'll take a look at your ag prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Center Auto Body.
This weekend, two university powerhouses will meet in the middle and battle in the border city. The U of A and U of S women's hockey team will hit the ice at the Rustway Arena. Our Evan Kenny reports.
This is where the roots were laid down for Chelsea DeBosher. Growing up in Lloydminster, she dreamed of taking hockey further.
It was probably about 14 or 15 where she really wanted to carry on and, go to the next level. So, at that stage, we kind of realized that's what she wanted to do, and we, I guess, we're supportive. And for her, it was a big commitment to play that. I mean, there's a lot of early mornings and early nights.
Learning to skate here, then eventually making her way up to the PWM Steelers. Now, in her second year at the University of Saskatchewan, she gets to play once again at the Rustway Arena.
They're just young girls themselves, too, that are working hard to play hockey because they love it and come out and enjoy it.
DeBosher isn't the only one getting to come home for the game. 4 other Steelers alumni will also hit the ice on Saturday. Kennedy Ganser, Stephanie Fisher, Peyton Lumba, and Tiana Yaremko will be part of the University of Alberta team.
You play better teams and play with better kids, it just makes you a better player, is what I could see.
Last season, the Steelers finished second in regular season for the Alberta Female Hockey League and third at provincials. Games will take place Saturday in Lloydminster and Sunday in Wainwright.
Oh, we're excited for her and proud of her too. It's
Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we go to our Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here at Bud Miller Park, and today we have been talking about Fall Fest going on here this Saturday. And Mackenzie Dow joins me once again, and now we did mention there in the last segment there will be a pie eating contest. So talking about that, how can people, if they do want to eat some pie, have a good time here, how can they get involved with the contest?
Yeah, so at our first aid tent here, there's going to be a sign-up sheet, and so they can just come, sign up their name, and it's going to be apple pie, so really good and fall themed. And yeah, the winner of the pie eating contest will actually take home a prize from Lloydminster District Co-op, so it's going to be a really great thing to have. So.
And now just a refresher there too, you said it started at 2 o'clock, so is there a certain time they have to sign up by, or is it that 2 o'clock window?
Yeah, by 2. If they sign up by 2 o'clock, then they'll be good to go to participate. So.
And now as well, this weekend you guys are also having a treat tent here, so can you tell us about that and what's going on there?
Yeah, so we have a treat tent that is free treats for everyone. It'll contain some fall-themed goodies as well as some fruit for to eat as well. So, but yeah, and all the food this weekend is actually free. So if everyone wants to come and have a free hot dog, free corn, and free treats, and there's also going to be free coffee and hot chocolate as well. So.
Very important, especially if that weather doesn't hold out, although it's looking like it will for sure. But as well, we've mentioned the games, the food as well, but there will be some entertainment going on too. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we will have live music from the Prairie Dogs coming, so they'll be performing a few times throughout the day. And then we also have a petting zoo for children entertainment as well. So yeah, it should be really good for entertainment too.
And now, once again, obviously you did mention the pie eating contest is free, but for the whole day, what does it take for people to come down? Is there any cost at all to coming to this?
No, not at all. We will have a couple food vendors, such as mini donuts and kettle corn, but everything else is totally free to attend. So.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more coming back from here at Bud Miller Park as we continue to talk about Fall Fest going on here in the park this Saturday. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Well, taking a look at current temperatures right now, we're still sitting at 17 degrees, so is Marwayne. And then St. Paul, Vegreville, and Wainwright and Lac La Biche are all at 20. Cold Lake, Bonnyville, and Vermilion are all at 19. And Edmonton is at 21, where Provost is at 17. Macklin is 19, and North Battleford, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, and Green Lake, and Pierceland all at 17. With Isla Cross sitting at 18, and then Maidstone down at 14. Now tomorrow's temperatures, we're looking to have 20-degree weather throughout most of the day. Same out in St. Walburg and Pierceland, 21 in Meadow Lake and Green Lake, 23 in Macklin, and 21 in North Battleford. On the Alberta side, 21 in Wainwright, 20 in Vermilion and in Edmonton, 19 in Vegreville and Bonnyville and Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, and 18 out in St. Paul. Now looking at our school day forecast for here in Lloydminster, 8 a.m. tomorrow will be sitting at 8 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, but hopefully mostly sunny. And then by the time recess rolls around, the temperature will go up to 12 degrees. Nice warm afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds as well. That is the trend that we'll see for most of the day. Lunchtime will be up to 16 degrees with that sun peeking out more so out of the clouds. And then by the time school is out, it will be 19 degrees with hopefully mostly sunny skies. Now take a look at your 7-day forecast. 20 is the high for tomorrow, but that wind will pick up to 15 kilometers per hour coming in from the south. Saturday, there's a 61% chance of some showers with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day with a high of 19. 21 is the high on Sunday with mostly sunny skies with a little bit of cloud here and there throughout the day. 22 on Monday with a mix of sun and cloud with a little bit of sun peeking out through those clouds, but a low chance of rain, so that is good. 17 is the high on Tuesday with more sun coming out throughout the day, and 12 on Wednesday, but that sun is really starting to peek out on Wednesday. And then Thursday, unfortunately, we go back to rain with a 56% chance of some showers with a high of 15. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Once again, we are back out here at Bud Miller Park, and today we have been taking a look at the Fall Fest, which will be happening here this Saturday from 12 to 5. And Mackenzie Dow joins me once again. And now I know we've gone through a little bit of what the kids do have, but there will also be some balloons and face painting as well.
Yes, we do have a clown coming that will do some balloon twisting, and then we have some glitter tattoos that'll be coming as well. So the kids will really enjoy that. They always do. So.
Yeah, it definitely should be very fun. And now talking about this event especially, you know, fall, kind of the last kick at the can for outdoor activities here before winter does come. What's the importance of, you know, bringing the community together and having events like these here in Lloydminster?
These events are really great for bringing people together. You can bring out your friends, your family, and celebrate something with your community. In this case, it's fall, what little of it we do get. So it's really great to come celebrate fall with your community and just have a great day and a good time before the snow hits. So.
And now as well, you know, we've mentioned, you know, the music, the entertainment, the food, but tons of stuff also for the kids to enjoy as well, you know, tons of different stuff. So what's the importance of, well, is, you know, getting the kids, you know, checking all this stuff out, you know, getting them started early on that?
Yeah, I think that it definitely provides the kids with experiences that brings them joy, able to meet new people, and just get outdoors, have a great time, and learn to celebrate what the seasons bring. So it's going to be a great day.
And now for you, maybe specifically, you know, you've done this before, put this on. If there was one thing, you know, people had to check out, definitely come see maybe your favorite part of the entire day, what would you say that is?
I would definitely say come check out the horse and wagon rides. They are definitely a great thing to be able to do. Not everyone gets the opportunity to grow up around horses, so it's something that really brings a lot of people happiness and joy on the day.
All right, thank you once again for doing this, and we are going to have some more from back here at Bud Miller Park once again, talking about the Fall Fest, all that there is to look forward to, as there's tons of stuff going on here this Saturday. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Now, our question of the day today is, what is one thing you have on your bucket list? And we posted this on our Facebook page and got a couple of comments. One saying, pumpkin spice latte, just traveling in general, cage diving to see sharks, learning to surf, and just a lot of them were going other places in Europe just to visit, like Switzerland and Germany and Rome. So there's a lot of different ones, and I think traveling is also one that's probably on my list as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing for a lot of people, to see places that you don't live, because see how different those places are, because you know it's different everywhere. So that's definitely on a lot of people's list, to go to certain places.
I think one that I would really like to visit is just do a tour of Europe. I feel like that would be really fun. I also want to go to a game for every major sports league.
Yeah.
So I've already been to MLB and NHL, but I want to try like NBA and NFL, just kind of see what the atmosphere is like and go to one of those games.
The NFL game is definitely high up on my list, as you probably already know. That is definitely something that I'm going to do, and I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, I've been to Seattle and went to a game there, and I feel like I also want to try going to like Chicago Cubs games, because I feel like just going to Wrigley Field would be really fun. But one thing that is fun is your pets. So we're going to take a look at your pet pad pictures. This is Riggs, Tika, and Sadie.
Again, great names. I'm loving these animals' names. Very awesome trio. They all are different breeds, and then the small little girl on the end, just adorable.
Just being overpowered by those two. And this is Griffey.
Just so adorable. I love golden retrievers, and the name again is wonderful.
Looks very fluffy.
Yeah.
This is Kima.
Gorgeous, gorgeous dog protecting that baby. They're probably best buds. Super cute.
And this is Link.
Another gorgeous dog enjoying the outdoors, and a wonderful photo.
Yes, very great picture.
Yeah.
And finally, this is Shadow.
Another great photo, another awesome looking dog, just super cute.
Enjoying the sun out there. Well, thank you to everybody who sent in your pictures. We'll be giving away a PetPad gift card tomorrow.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio with me are a pair of tennis pros for the area, Tyler Como and Warren Aguinaldo. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. It's a pretty exciting time, really, to be a tennis fan in Canada. I'm sure you've probably felt some of that buzz within your tennis lesson groups and other people who play in the area.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us out here. Definitely a lot of people talking about tennis lately with Bianca going so far, you know, winning the US Open. So I know we were at a tournament when it happened, and the tournament kind of went on pause. Everyone kind of came on in, and we started watching kind of like the magic unfold.
Yeah, and you guys were playing in Saskatoon, correct?
Yeah, we were playing in Saskatoon that week, and you could just hear from the inside of the building everyone going off as soon as she got that match point. Even around people that don't typically watch tennis, they're asking me about it. It's like, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
like, they're all excited about it too.
Has there been a time, I know Milos obviously made it to a Wimbledon final, but can you remember a buzz around the country like this?
I mean, I think it would go back to Daniel Nestor.
Yeah.
Back when his Nestor went pretty far in doubles for a little while there, and so there was a big buzz with him pursuing it.
Okay.
And you know, with like Pospisil always kind of hanging around too, and then when Dennis went on a few runs and going deep into tournaments in the previous like 2 years, that was the one time I started to see more people show up to tennis in Lloydminster.
And Tyler, you have a background of competing against some pretty high tennis players yourself, including Vasek Pospisil?
Yes and no. I mean, so I grew up in the Northwest Territories, and the advantage of that was we got to participate in Canada Games, we got to participate in Western Games, we would get to travel and play more of the Canadian tour side of things. And so I had I guess the privilege or the honor of getting to go be a competitor at Canada Summer Games, where we were playing top-ranked players from the provinces coming up. And so yeah, he was a competitor at the games at the time, and it's just another level of tennis.
Yeah, I guess describe the difference for the folks who don't really understand just how much precision there is compared to someone who, like as you said, you guys play regularly versus someone who makes it their entire profession.
It's a difficult thing to describe because you watch it on TV and you watch people play, and your instant thought is that looks like something we could probably do. And then once that racket goes in your hand and you hit the ball for the first time and you send it 50 feet over the fence, you realize how reactive the racket and ball are together. And so it's just the discipline and the control to hit with such power and pace while making it look so natural.
Right.
Makes the sport look like people can jump in. But it's one of the most, I would say, difficult sports to pick up because of how responsive that ball is on a racket.
Okay. And how much time does it take to get sort of that base technique down, whether it's the changing of different grips and just knowing the timing of where the ball's bouncing to, all those sorts of things?
I'd say that's a hard one to gauge, just given with practice time and being out on the court, it comes with consistency of being out there, right? It's kind of like riding a bike. You do it well, not quite like riding a bike. Because with riding a bike, you pick it up, and then you can kind of find your balance later down the road. But with tennis, you kind of have to keep it in practice and really spend the time consistently to find that control. So with Bianca, she was 10 years old when she started playing. She's 19 now. She figured it out within the 9 years, wins a US Open. Whereas you can have someone like us who've been playing for, 15 to 20, 30 years. We didn't win a US Open, but it comes with the hard work and consistency of practice.
For sure. And then obviously it helps when you get to work at a training center, which there are only a couple of in the country.
Yeah, there's not as many training centers that would be ideal for national programs. I think we said there were 2 in Alberta, the one in Toronto, one in BC. I think it's based out of Vancouver, though.
Yep, and there should be one in Quebec.
And one in Quebec as well, but there's other provinces like the Maritime provinces, Saskatchewan itself, and all of the territories. There's no national training center facility for this sport.
Sure. And until more U.S. Opens and such are won, we probably won't see one quite as big. But again, Bianca winning is certainly a big accomplishment.
This weekend is a very busy weekend here in the city of Lloydminster, and coming up on Saturday, Fall Fest is going to take over Bud Miller Park. The free, family-friendly activities start at noon on Saturday, so you can take the kids out because the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre is going to be there with crafts and games. There's going to be a hay maze that you can go through, horse-drawn wagon rides. There's also going to be Sprinkles the Clown on hand, bouncy houses, glitter tattoos, and so much more fun. That is Fall Fest. It's at Bud Miller Park on Saturday, starting at noon. The stage is getting set and everything's getting ready for a big party here at the Stockade out at the Lloyd X. Coming up on Saturday night, you've got a chance to be here Saturday night for a cabaret. That is part of the Bordertown Hog Chapter's 9th annual toy run. The Dirt Rich Band is going to be bringing the party on Saturday night, and tickets for just the cabaret, $20. But if you want to help out in an even bigger way and be a part of the entire toy run, $30 gets you in so that you can go out on the road with these guys, have a fun day, heading down to Wainwright and coming back and raising funds for a great cause. The funds are going to be split between a number of charities here in Lloydminster, including Big Brothers Big Sisters and Kidsport as well. So if you want to join in on all the fun, head for Denham Chrysler on Saturday morning to get registered and head out on the 9th annual toy run. And Sunday morning, put on your running shoes or your walking shoes and head for Bud Miller Park for the annual Terry Fox Run. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the run will get underway at 10 a.m. If you'd like to get more details or to pre-register, you can go online, terryfox.org. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klegus, and that's what's happening.
Back in studio with Tyler Como and Warren Aguinaldo. We kind of just ended talking about the fact that there aren't a lot of training centers. So you don't have a big center like you do in Toronto or Vancouver out here necessarily, although there have been changes made with the Go Center out in Edmonton. How important is it having a larger center for rural kids to get the chance to go and train at a high place?
I think the biggest problem is the year-round abilities to play. And so when you have those national training centers, you can play indoors year-round, whereas, you know, in Lloyd, once we hit that first snowfall, we're kind of restricted to then going to a school gym to play.
And the service center as well.
And the service center,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so having its own facility within Lloyd where people can play year-round on a solely dedicated to tennis, it would change the way that people in Lloyd go about wanting to play the sport.
Okay. And that obviously then requires a little bit of money for the parents who want to invest in their kid. Let's say they want to go to Edmonton during the winter. They're going to have to make a lot of trips and obviously then spend gas money and so forth.
Gas money, memberships to whatever facilities, as well as court time. Yeah. And then the coaching time as well. Yeah.
So, and that's obviously having the coach being hired is not cheap either.
And I think that depends on the level of the coach. I mean, depends where you're going, depends on rates at certain clubs.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches too would take into perspective travel times, commutes and whatnot. I know us as coaches, we kind of try to factor in the lifestyle of everybody that's around us. And so if somebody's really trying to make it work and they're passionate and they're dedicated, we love the sport, right? That's why we coach it. That's why we play it. We're not there to take the money. We're there to help people fall in love with the sport that we love.
Okay. And do you think that's going to be easier now because of this huge win, all the press coverage that Bianca's received and is probably going to continue to receive? That's going to not only inspire more young kids, especially girls, to play, but also more parents will be into it. And maybe there'll be more of a demand for coaching, I guess.
I can kind of speak to that because, like, after that weekend she won, I did get at least 2 more calls for, you know, more lessons. Can we get out there right away? But I mean, given the weather lately, it just is what it is. But for sure, like, whenever a Canadian goes on a run like that, I tend to see a lot more people at the courts. I do tend to get a few more calls for lessons.
Yeah, I think it also plays to the fact that she's got a social media presence, right? And so kids growing up, adults, I mean, we're all on social media, different networks whatsoever. And Bianca's been posting on social media for people that want to follow her to see. And I think the fact that that's being covered in that aspect as well, it's showing kids where they can go and how it's covered on media.
For sure. And do you think now, when that growth continues to happen, we'll start to see 1 or 2 Canadian tennis stars that come from a prairie province? Because basically, all of the high-level people have come from Vancouver or Toronto area or Quebec at this point.
I think there's definitely a lot of potential. Playing around Alberta, Saskatchewan, there's a few really high-level playing juniors that are really stirring up the buzz around Canada. Western Canada Games happened, and there's a few solid individuals, especially from Alberta, that could be stirring up some noise in the near future.
And just to speak to that too, the Western Canada Games that did happen, Northwest Territories women's doubles team won the bronze medal, and so they definitely are showing that they're starting to become competitive in those environments as awareness is raised. People are getting out and playing. We're bringing in coaches that are more qualified to fulfill expectations.
Yeah, and who knows, perhaps if the passion for this continues, we'll get some form of wintry tennis. Maybe someone will be the first to play in some snowshoes.
Snowshoes, let's go with skates. Let's go to Bud Miller.
Yeah, I mean, back home in Yellowknife, we always did, we shaved off ice at one point and we did play on ice. Just in running shoes at one point. It was a fun little hit around, not a tennis ball, it was a foam ball, but we tried to make it work as best as we could.
Okay. Perhaps that's the new Winter Olympic sport down the road.